Would you like to learn how to make an armature? So in the next video, I'm going to show you step by step in live time, give you a breakdown of exactly what I'm using, and in live time you'll see me from start to finish make this shape. Now what will I use it for? I can use it for wedding bouquets. I can do it on a smaller scale. I can do it on a larger scale as well. But it's ideal for doing a presentation bouquet using large flowers, maybe the likes of sunflowers or peonies, or when you want to just use a few flowers but yet make quite a large bouquet, so you get away with using a lot less material. You can make them more decorative than I've done there, and again you can allow them to be shown, and again you can bring them in a lot closer and make it into a fruit bowl shape and have your bouquet of flowers actually down inside it. Listen, the ideas is endless. You could go on and on. So hope you enjoy. Watch it now. Have your notebook and pen ready so that you can take notes as you go along. Welcome back. So today's class, I want to teach you how to do an armature. So this would be something that you could use for making a bouquet. It could be a gift bouquet, or it could even be a wedding bouquet. Now there's lots of armatures on the market. There's ones that are ready-made. I suppose the handiest ones would be the guppy or the Holly Chapel eggs and cushions and pillows. So these are all what they call armatures that you can actually buy ready-made. And then there are ones then that people would make themselves, maybe using twigs, maybe using branches of trees, maybe using stems of flowers, but I'm going to show you using wires. Now the wires that I'm going to use today, in case anybody wants to copy, they're a 15 gauge, so they're extremely heavy. If you've watched me before, or if you've done any of my professional classes, like normally 20 and 22 gauge would probably be the maximum that I would ever use. I may use a 19 at Christmas time. So these are 15, so they're extremely heavy. They're also 20 inches long, and again, normally on our professional classes, 10 inch and 12 inch would probably be the maximum length wires that I would buy. Now when you're purchasing wires, you pay by the length, you pay by the weight. So obviously the longer the wires are, the heavier the gauge, the more expensive they are. The other thing that you will find is there will be less wires actually in the bunch. Now nobody asked me how many wires is in that bunch, I haven't got a clue, but there's quite a lot. They're normally kind of like tied together there at the top, there with a bit of wire. So that is the amount of wire, they're just to kind of give you an idea. That's in a packet, so that's a new packet there. The next thing you're going to need is gutter tape, and look at the dirt in my hands. Them wires don't come in enamelled, so again you'll find that you'll get quite dirty off them. Now you can either choose to use green gutter tape or white gutter tape. I suppose the white gutter tape, if you're doing bridal work, can actually look nice, and this can look like it's part of the actual arrangement itself. And again, you could spend maybe a lot more time than I'm going to spend on it today and make it a little bit more decorative. The only thing I often find with the white gutter tape is it picks up all the dirt off my hand. So most of you at this stage probably know how to gutter tape. If you don't, I am going to show you now, but I do have a more, I suppose, intricate video on our YouTube channel. So search our YouTube channel, Kay's Flower School, look up gutter taping, and it's where I'll show you lots of times and show you all the little tips and tricks to make sure that your gutter taping is perfection. So I think I'll do the green because I know, well, the dirt in my hands there, I'm going to make the white gutter tape extremely dirty. And again, I go off now and wash my hands and come back, that way, so this video will be over. So this is a brand new roll of gutter tape that I'm opening, and there's a plastic covering on the outside which I'm just removing. So just for anyone that's starting, gutter tape, the heat of your hand and the more you stretch it is what actually makes it sticky. So with these wires, you start up at the top and you start on an angle. You tuck in that little piece of gutter tape that's sticking out. You stretch the gutter tape, and with your finger and your thumb, you kind of like roll the wire that the tape actually, sticks to it, and kind of starts wrapping itself around it more or less. So it's roll the wire, move down, stretch the tape. Roll the wire, move down, stretch the tape. And as I said, there's a video on YouTube showing you this in slow motion and in more detail. And when you get to the end, you break off the tape, and that way then the stickiness then will make it stick to the end of the wire. If you don't actually snap it while it's attached to the wire, what will happen is it'll start to unravel. Now sometimes it unravels anyway. So again, start as close to the top as you can on an angle, tuck in that piece of tape, roll the wire, okay? And then I normally keep my left hand underneath, I keep my right hand on top, and I'm rolling, move down, stretch, roll, move down, stretch. And once you get into the system of it, you're rolling and pulling and stretching and coming down the wire. And you can see the way my hands move down the wire. And when I get to the end, break off the tape, you can see the way it's nearly stuck to my finger, and that's a sign that you're pulling it hard enough. Now in total you need 14 wires gutted taped up. So I'm just going to check here. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. So there's spares. Now I'm just going to double check and to make sure. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. Yeah, I can count. So these are 14 of the 15 gauge wires, 20 inches long, and each one is individually taped. And as I said, you can choose to do it in whatever colour you want, okay? Now I'm banging the wires on the end of the table to make sure that they're all like at the same level. Now approximately, I suppose, 6 inches from the bottom, I'm going to create a handle. So with my gutted tape, I'm going to catch it around all 14 wires, okay, and tape the 14 wires together, pulling it and stretching it and going over the same point over probably 6 or 7 times. And then I'm going to start moving down, and I'm actually creating a handle. So from about there is where I started, and I'm going to tape all the way to the end. Now you can make your handle larger or smaller. So the idea of the handle, whether it's a gift bouquet, it's where you're going to hold it or carry it, or if it's a bridal bouquet, it's where the bride is going to grip it. And obviously if it's a bridal bouquet, we will cover this area here in ribbon or in fabric ribbon just to make it nice. Now when you get down to the end, which I'm just there now, continue on taping past it a little bit, and then bang it on the table, okay? And then do that again, you know, that way, go over the tape, but it's overlapping. In other words, I'm taping past the area where the wire stopped. I'm just going to break off the tape, press it on the table, and you can see how neat then that makes the end of it. So that area there is my handle, and these are all my wires. So now we're ready for the next stage. The next stage I describe as creating an umbrella frame. So where I start at the handle, where the gutted tape is attached, you know, the handle is attached to, I place my thumbnail. Now you don't have to place your thumbnail there, you'll work maybe the top of your finger. And I'm going to bend each wire individually down on a 90-degree angle, creating, as I said, an umbrella frame. Now if a wire is on this side of the handle, make sure that you bend it down on that side and use the top of your finger or the top of your nail to get a nice sharp 90-degree bend. But if the wire is on the opposite side, okay, I'm just using the top of this finger here, again bend it over that side. In other words, don't grab a wire from that side and pull it over here. And don't grab a wire from that side and push it over there. Like, work your way around. So again, as I turn that there, the wire that's on this side, bend it down on the 90-degree angle. The wire that's kind of in the center of the two of them, bend it down on the 90-degree angle. Spin it around. Again, the wire that's here, doesn't matter which wire you grab, but just make sure that each wire is individually brought down and that you're trying not to cross the wires over each other. So that one is actually better kind of into that angle there. So can you see that effect? I haven't got them all down yet. So again, do that to the 14 wires. And this can take a little bit of practice, you know, that you get that sharp 90-degree bend, that you're not just curving the wires down. And you can see the way I'm spinning it around and I kind of find the area that would be better for that particular wire to actually bend down. Now they move around slightly, which I'm not worried about kind of for the moment, but I'll just try and space them as evenly as I can there, just so that you can see the effect. So there's our handle, and that's what I call the umbrella frame. Now we're ready for the next stage. Go and get yourself a sweeping brush handle. Now it doesn't have to be a sweeping brush handle, but something similar size wise. I've no sweeping brush here. I'm not sweeping the floor that much here in the school. I tell you, the brush has gone baldy, so we just have a stick here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to place the stick in between two of the wires, in as close as I can to the center. And then I'm going to grab these two wires around the sweeping brush handle, and I'm going to twist them 3 times, okay, just to make sure that they won't separate. So I'm going to slide the sweeping brush handle out, and I'm going to go into the next 2. So you'll have 7 pairs basically. So again, bring the wire in close, wrap the 2 wires around the sweeping brush handle. They don't have to be in dead tight to it, okay? And again, give it 3 twists of your fingers. Now make sure that you're not wrapping one wire around another wire. You're twisting the wires like that sort of effect, which again can be strong, and you need a little bit of strength in your fingers. And then I'm going to slide that wire out. Now Deirdre's going to come in closer now, just so that I can show you in detail what I'm doing. So I'm going to pick in between these 2 wires. I often describe them as the 2 legs. So bring the sweeping brush handle in close there to the center. And then these 2 wires, okay, so it's these 2 here, kind of like twist them. And you can see the way I'm twisting the 2 wires around each other 3 times. And then just slide the sweeping brush handle out. So again, in between them there, bring it in close. Let's see which 2 legs I'm on here. Twist them over. And again, 3 twists of your fingers or 3 twists of the wires, and slide the sweeping brush handle out. And then you're into the next 2. Again, bring the 2 wires around the sweeping brush handle, and again give it 3 twists of your finger. And I'll just show you now how it's coming together. I have a few more to do. And the great thing is you can get your fingers in there, and again you can kind of like mold them and curve them, do you know, that way to kind of like give them a bit more space, or if they're too fat you can get them, like you can actually make them skinnier. So I've just 2 more sets to do. So in between these 2, cross over the wires, 3 twists of the finger, slide the sweeping brush handle out, and then our last 2. So in there, bring around our 2 wires, 3 twists of the finger, and your fingers need to be strong for this, by the way, and slide it out. So hopefully you can kind of see the effect that I've made. And again, as I said, these can all be maneuvered. They can be made skinnier, they can be made fatter, do you know, that way. That is the great thing about working with wire. The next stage, okay, so each little sweeping brush hole that I've made, okay, I'm going to get the 2 outside wires, so the outside wire of this one and the outside wire of this one, and I'm going to attach the 2 of them together. Now you will find it easier to kind of hold one hand on top or your thumb on top, just so that you can kind of like hold them 2 little sweeping brush holes, okay? Hold the 2 of them together. You're using these 2 outside wires. Now you can decide to keep them smaller or longer. If you make them smaller, you will find that your armature will curve up like a fruit bowl. That's the easiest way to describe it, which looks really, really well, but depends on the design of the bouquet that you're going to make. So again, this is something you can experiment with yourself, okay? But I'm going to keep mine on the flat, so it means I'm going to leave like a larger gap here, like overlap these 2, and you'll see now in a second, okay? So I'm going to overlap these 2 wires here. Again, I'm just going to, the first one is always the most awkward, okay? So, hold on, just bend that over there a little bit. The first one, as I said, is just that little bit awkward. So I'm leaving approximately 2 centimeters of wire at the bottom, okay? And I'm going to twist these 2 pieces of wire together 2 or 3 times. Do you see what I've done there? But then I'm able to go in here and I'm able to spread them out. Now this will be the next 2 wires that I'm going to join together, right? So again, catch them at the bottom, okay? And obviously if I wasn't videoing this, I'd be kind of like a little bit more, you know, maneuvering with the 2 hands, but just to kind of show you. So again, twist there together, but you see the way I'm able to maneuver that around, okay? So then we go to the next 2, so that will be this wire here and this wire here. So again, just cross them over. Let's give them a little bit of a bend there, it's easier for me. And especially when I've only got the 1 hand. So again, 2 or 3 twists. I'll show you how I get rid of them wires at the bottom, and you see the way I can maneuver that again. So we work our way around. So just separate my sweeping brush holes, like keeping them kind of apart there. So this one and this one, bring them over. And again, just at the bottom, just trying to keep them roughly the same length. I always find that if that one is over, it's easier for me. Here we go. So again, 2 or 3 little twists there at the end, and then being able to go back and maneuver it. So then this is, you can see the way it's starting to take shape, okay? So, and don't expect 100% perfection, you know, that way, like do the best you can, but you will find that like sometimes you'll get a bigger hole than the other, but like a lot of it, it's an armature for holding the flowers in. So yeah, you can choose to let a lot of it show, but I'm probably not going to let a lot show in what I'm going to do. And then I'm on my second last 2 here, so bring these ones around, cross them over each other. There we go, 2 or 3 twists. And I know when you all go to do this, you'll say, oh my God, Janette's hands must be as strong as anything, because I'm warning you, it's really, really tough wire to twist together. So I'm on to the last one. go. 1, 2, 2 or 3 twists. Again, a little bit maneuvering, and then come back here, and I'll just try and settle them all out. Getting my sweeping brush handles into place, my little holes there in the center, get them into place, and then get my bigger circles. And again, you can see the way, like, because it's wire, you're able to maneuver it. It's brilliant. And that's the shape then that I have so far. Now I'm going to show you the last stage is just getting rid of the raw wires at the bottom. Now the last stage, some people cut them off, okay? I don't find that's very successful. Other people stick berries onto the end of them, like hypericum berries, holly berries, to be honest, like small little crab apples. There's lots of little different things that you can do for decoration, okay? Sometimes I find the apple makes it very heavy. I'm just using a little, like just a little snip. It's kind of like a square-edged snip, and I'll probably get Deirdre to come in close there, you know, that way that you'll be able to see it. Don't exactly know what the name of this is. And what I'm doing is I'm gripping the end of the wire, okay, pinching it together real tight, and then I'm just twisting the wire around on top of itself. Do you see where that just went into that little circle? And I'm going to twist the other one the opposite way. Now again, it's kind of like it's time consuming and it's messy, and that was a little bit crooked for me there, but I'll just straighten it back up with my fingers. Do you see, just to get that little circle at the bottom. That wasn't my best one, so hopefully the next one will be better. So again, grip it there, and when you're doing it at home and you're not being videoed, you'll be able to mess around with that. Was much better. Do you see that circle there? And again, sometimes kind of find you just get a knack with the angle of your hand, bring it around. That one went a little bit off there, but again, I'm able to straighten it in there with my finger just to get rid of them raw bits of wire, you see, sticking at the end. So I'm going to work my way around there and tilt in all them edges. 3 done. I have 7 in total. And then obviously some of them were just where the wire is a little bit longer. So I've done this in live time. I haven't I'm going to place it on the table just so I can grip it better. I haven't fast forwarded anything, so you can see exactly how long it's taken me. I suppose the only thing was I had most of the wires gutted taped at the beginning. I think I only done 2 of the wires in front of you, where obviously you'll need 14 wires. And I'm pretty fast at the gutted taping. Some people are slow at it, you know what I mean? But again, all of these things take practice. But I try to do that with all of our professional courses, is I try to do it in real time, that you can see exactly, you know what I mean, how long it takes me, and if something goes wrong, or you know what I mean, I make a bags of something, at least you'll see that actually happening. And I actually find it's easier if you leave it on the table, by the way, for this stage. But all our professional programs are done like that. We do them in live time, that you can judge. It took Janette X amount of time, or so many minutes to do that. That'll take you maybe the same, maybe a tiny little bit longer. Now on our bridal course, we do cover obviously all designs and all types of styles of wedding bouquets, but I do cover how to do all wired wedding work, you know, or all wired buttonholes and corsages, flower crowns, pomanders. We do our pomanders wired as well, floral hoops, flower crowns, I think I mentioned them. So like that practicing of the gutted tape, and you know what I mean, it's a great skill to have, and you'll definitely use it. Now I'll hold that up there now, so just probably get a bit more of a twist on that one. There we go. All fingers and thumbs here, which angle? There we go. There we go. Now, so there is our armature, which is going to be used for our hand-tied bouquets. And by the way, we don't use this on our typical hand-tied bouquet workshop. We actually teach you the proper spiral work. But again, when you're doing hand ties, it depends on the style, depends on the flowers. Depends what you're using it for, whether you would use one of these or you would just do it like our typical hand tied. If you're probably saying, well, what would be the advantage of using this? The advantage of using this is I can get away with less material, and I can make a bigger bouquet using less material, so I probably get more money in the end. And again, even for a bridal bouquet, even though the wires themselves, you know, have a little bit of weight in them, the flowers would be heavier. So I can get away with making a big bouquet. I could even have a trailing bouquet coming out of this, but yet I would get away with a lot less material if I was doing them, rather than doing a typical hand-tied or cascading bouquet, or instead of a typical all-wired wedding bouquet. So, ready for the next stage, which is adding in the flowers. Well, I hope you enjoyed that class. Hopefully you took notes as you went along. I'm not actually going to add the flowers in today because over on our Facebook page, we're actually going to upload a free demonstration class of me making the bouquet using our armature. So pop back over to Facebook and again, you can watch that class.